Hey, everybody. Welcome to tonight's call. I'm super excited that you are all here. Listen, we have been having so much fun doing live events, in person events. So, if that is your jam, this is the call for you. Or if you've been thinking about it, this is definitely going to be, a call that you want to take notes. I'm going to try my best to put out some links out for everybody once I get them collected from the people who are helping me do this training. But I'm so excited. We have a great panel of people who have experience in this area. So if you have been wanting to, explore this, take really good notes. We're doing a recording. So if your downline didn't get on tonight's call, do not worry. I'm going to have everybody go ahead and mute their line. Let's see. And then we will, okay, I'm going to mute all actually. And then I will go ahead and let the people who are going to be sharing unmute themselves. So, my name is Celia. I am a vice president rank here at the Super Patch. My sponsor is Nicole Profit, and I am out here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And so, when I lived in California and I was selling a different product, going out to doing markets was my jam. That was totally my jam. I love customer service. If I worked as the greeter at Walmart, I would probably end up being like the regional manager of Walmart. That's how much like confidence I have in my customer service. And so I miss it. I miss getting out there and meeting people belly to belly. You can only do so much on social media. You can only do so much, with your close network. But at one point, you got to get out there and you got to get belly to belly. And this is a product that deserves and works so good to be demoed. Can everybody just agree that this product is amazing when it is demoed and then when it's demoed the right way? So we're going to talk about balance tests. We're going to talk about the things that you need to carry in your bag, how to have an extravagant setup, how to have a minimal setup, where to set up, how to find events. So for me, like I said, I used to do vendor events in California. My thing was I networked really close with the business owners around me. I made sure that I was a friend making machine. I went and met the Color Street girl. I became best friends with the person who sold t-shirts. I became really good friends with the girl who was selling stun guns. I mean, we called ourselves the business besties. And the reason why we made that pack was because our town was really small. And what we wanted to do was we wanted to be the first of our kind of our company to be the applicant for that event in the small town. And we always made sure that we were together. Why? There's safety in numbers. We help each other pack up and set up. We watch each other's tents if we need to go potty. Like, things like that. Like, you want to make sure that you have a community of people around you. Okay. So that is one of my biggest tips that I would suggest when you go out and you do these events. You are a business owner, get out there and meet other business owners. Why? Because they're going to ask you about your business because they're business minded. They're going to ask you about your product. Small businesses support other small businesses. We just had a meal tonight from a butcher, from a lady who has 200 acres here in Oklahoma, and she brings all of her meat to this farmer's market. Well, she bought a sample of Freedom Patches from me, and I bought some ribs from her, and we just kind of like now we're networking. She's gonna ask me how my meal was. I'm gonna ask her how her patches were. We are building a relationship. I am not from here. Okay, this is not my hometown, but I am desperate to get out there and meet people and share about the power of this patch because it is still so new. And that ripple effect can just go on, right? People start talking about the patches, people start joining your team, you're growing your area, you're growing your network. Okay. So what I did was I went into, and I'm going to be really quick here because I'm going to let other people share. Okay. So what I did was I said, okay, I am going to ask the moms group, moms, I need help. I am new to this area. I'm new-ish. I would like to get out there and show my product. What is the best group for me to join so that I can meet other business owners and show my product? I am familiar with with markets, and but certain farmers markets, they won't let you set up if it is not a product that you make. Okay. So they were like, join this group, connect with this person. She's on the board of the farmers market in the next town over. I'm sure they wouldn't have a problem. So they started connecting me with other business owner groups, other vendor groups, and that's how I found the market that I'm working with now. And I'll tell you what, I sold $600 last Sunday from having full product on hand, from having samples on hand. Okay. So, what I want you to be open to is that when you do your super smart shift, you are buying your packs at $33 a pack, right? You're buying four and you're getting one free. Okay. That makes it $33 a pack. Okay. When you sell those patches for $60 for a full pack, you're going to make $27 and the return on your investment is 45%. When you sell samples of 5 for 15, you're going to end up breaking that down and selling the whole pack for $75 with 3 patches left over. Okay. You're going to make a $42 profit. And that is a 56% investment. I'm sorry, return on your investment. Okay. Remember, you only paid $33 per pack. Okay. So that's 56%. I have all of these numbers written down. I can throw it in the chat. Okay, when you sell packs of 7 for 20, which I do know there's people on here when they set up an event or they sell on Facebook or whatever, 7 patches, that's a 7-day trial for $20, you're going to sell the whole pack for $80 because 7 and there's 20, okay? So 7 times 4, that's 28. Okay, so you're selling them in groups of 4, 7, 7, 7, 7. That's $80, okay, total once you sell the whole pack of samples. That's $47 in profit and 58.8% return on your investment when you sell the samples from that. So I will throw the math in the chat, but I'm going to go ahead and hand it over. Do we have Courtney on yet?
I haven't seen her yet.
We haven't seen Courtney. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over
Quick
to
about the reason why I switched to 7 instead of 5.
Yes.
So in the very beginning, I just did monkey see, monkey do the 5 for whatever, 15
Yeah.
or whatever it was. And sometimes people were not having that breakthrough moment in just 5 days. And so our clinical trials are based on 14 days. And I thought, how can I get closer, right, to that amount while still being wise with my finances and my patches? So I just extended it to 7. It made it super easy math wise because there's 7 packs in a pack, and so it makes a lot of sense. And I have more success. So people who are doing the 7-day trial packs are becoming customers faster than the people who only get 5 patches.
I agree because people are handing me 20s and then I have to give them a 5 back. So they have the money anyways. It's not an issue, right? So if you want to make that 58%, 58.8% return on your investment, that would be the way to go. I think I'm going to go ahead and switch my marketing after tonight. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Miss Dina. Dina is, from what I've heard, I haven't really met her yet or talked to her one-on-one, but what I've heard is that she is a high seller when she does her event. So we're going to hear from her. Make sure you take notes, and we're going to go ahead and give it over to Dina.
Hey everyone, good evening. Can y'all hear me okay? Yes. Okay, perfect. So Courtney, who's not here right now, but she is the one who signed me up with Super Patch. I've known her and Nicole both for years, and basically I signed up like almost a year ago next month, and I was just using the Freedom Patch, and then I started Liberty, and then I saw Courtney all over Facebook, like doing all these events, all this balance testing. She was just doing videos, and I was like, oh my God, what's going on? Like, what is she doing? I didn't even know about it. So basically, I kind of just jumped in, started ordering all the patches and getting more and more. And I started doing events with her. So Courtney is really, really good at finding local events for us. And we do it as a team. So if we're in her downline, like we can go and she might, pay for the booth or whatever. If it's a really expensive one, we might split it or break it up or whatever. But we did the Abilities Expo here, and that was huge, like thousands of people a day. Not everybody stops at your booth, but so we've been doing tons of vendor events. And I love sales and marketing, so that's kind of my forte. Like, I'm like you, I could stand at Walmart and greet everybody, and I love all the customer service. But I think the main thing, I'm actually about to get one of those big tall banners, okay, that stands up. I think the bright yellow one is amazing because it attracts people over to your table or your booth. And um you can have one that goes behind your booth as well if you have a wall, but if you don't, just the stand up ones are fine. Um I don't know if you want me to talk about like, because when I'm there at the vendor events, you're standing in front of your table, not behind your table. You don't sit down. You literally need to be out there grabbing people. And the way I do it, which I learned from Courtney, pretty much everything I do is, hey, have you ever heard of Super Patch before? And they'll go, no, I haven't. Oh, well, can I do a balance test on you, a free balance test? And we have the sign on our table that says it, but some people want to walk by and not look at you and do all that stuff. So we just say, hey, have you ever heard of Super Patch? And they're usually going to say no. If they say yes, they're going to want more samples immediately, usually. So we get them over there, we balance test them, we all take turns, and we just have a lot of fun. They're usually blown away. And then we show them our sheet. I like to print individuals and give it to them with my information on there and my card. Some people will just like laminate it and show them, and then they can take a picture. I like to give them the actual sheets because then they're going to take it home and they're going to actually look at it. And I'll sit there and say, hey, do you have any of these issues that you see on the paper, right? And then they're going to be like, oh yeah, I have this and this and this. Okay, great. Let's go see what kind of samples you need. And usually they're going to buy 2, 3, possibly more than that. But usually people are getting 2 or 3 sample packs. I do like y'all's idea of the 7 for 20. Most people have a 20 on them or 2 10s, and we don't have to come up with change. So every event we take a big wagon with all of our stuff in there. I have a 4-foot table with a tablecloth, the kind that goes like down under the legs. I think 6-foot tables are kind of big for some of my events, but you might want to have one of both. So you're going to need tablecloths, your sample packs. We can send you guys all the links for those. Your sample packs will have your name, phone number, your website, and your QR code. We have the racks with all the little pins on them, and we hang all of our samples because they're going to see those and be like, what's that, and which one. Of course, they're colored inside. We have 2 stands usually because we have 13 patches, so one stand's not quite enough. Your signs with all the cocktail combinations on them, you might want to print those out and laminate those so that people, and lay them across your table so people can see the cocktail combinations. And they just redid them, I think, recently. Let's see, your free balance test sign, your tall banner, bright yellow. I post daily all over social media. I usually do videos. Actually, I do a lot of networking. I'm usually at networking events like 4 to 5 times a week. And I do my videos daily. I kind of learned that from Nicole, and just go through your lifestyle and all that kind of stuff, what you're doing that day. Yeah, so let's see, what else do I have? Show them the list of patches, right? And just kind of figure out what they need. Ask them what issues, make suggestions for them. And, we do have several chiropractors on our team, physical therapist office. I'm trying to get into those right now. Gyms are great ideas. I like the idea of the mom group, who can you connect me with? That is a great suggestion. And yeah, just constantly, be show out there and literally try to balance test 1 or 2 people every single day. And now I'm getting customers, and I've only been doing this like 2 months. I'm finally starting to get some customers, and of course, business partners.
Thank you so much, Dina. Can you tell us how much you've made like per show, like on average?
So on average, 3 to 500. If it's a real small show or just for a couple hours, I mean, sometimes I've been like, oh man, this was a bummer, I only made $100. But most of the good shows, I mean, 500 is average.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's just on sample packs, and then they're going to order from you and be your customer, and then you're going to make that 25%.
That's amazing. I have done both. I have sold with my QR code, and I'm going to have Nikki show us in just a minute the marketing materials that she makes. And you guys can order from her stand store, but I literally have them while they're there, scan my QR code, and I tell them the clinical studies are on my website. It's FDA registered. Like there's no second guessing what I'm doing here. It is FDA registered. That is my backup. Like that's my like, hey girl, we got your back. I'm like, the clinical studies are there. Scan my website. You're gonna get 25% off your order when you love it. So take the samples, try it out. I'm gonna connect with you. Make sure you get their phone number. One thing that the website has good sample trackers. So if you get that, I will tell you that I used Square this past weekend. And I guess when it sent people the receipt, they opted out of sharing their information with me. And the number that I took down and put in Square got blocked. So make sure you have a backup, like a clipboard, says samples, who are your sample people. And if you're balance testing them, make sure you get that number, even if they walk away. If they have your patch on them, get their information, because you want to make sure that they don't walk away and then they don't have a way to contact you because they threw your flyer in the back of their car. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Nikki. Thank you so much, Dina, for sharing. That was so great. Nikki Purcell, she does so many events throughout the month. She's a great consistent leader on social media, and she does a really great job at just creating unique marketing materials. And so I hit her up and I was like, listen, I would pay you big money to do this for me because I do not have the mental capacity. I'm 42 years old and I don't want to figure out Canva right now. Could you just do it for me? And she was like, let me whip up some stuff. And it has been so great and so beneficial for my business. And everything's beautiful. And it's wow. So I'm going to go ahead and have Nikki share. She does events and then she can go ahead and share the marketing stuff.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, Celia, I use Square as well, and I make sure that I actually build their contact info before I take their payment. So I just don't ask them. I'm like, oh, hey, what's your name? What's your email? And I also have a sign-in sheet. So anyone that does a balance test at the table or at the booth, I make sure that they sign in on a clipboard, and it's just, a sign-in sheet. So I'm getting their name and at least their email. And then I also do a raffle at my events. So I just have this box. It has the tablecloth inside right now, but it has a little sign, and I'll show you what that looks like. And this is something I can give away as a freebie for people just because we're all together on the same team. But it just says enter to win a free pack of patches. You can say whatever. It could say a trial pack. It could say whatever you want. But it just goes on this little box, and they put their name on the card at the table. And it's just another way to make sure that you're getting people's contact information. I think more than anything, that is the goal of doing some kind of a vendor event, is to network and get new contacts, right? Is to expand your hot leads list. And then sales is the secondary goal of having any kind of event like that. And so if you go into it with that mindset, I think it's all a win, right? Because at the end of the day, you walk away having met people and got contact information from people that you would have never met anywhere else, right? You would have never connected with them on social media or in person unless you were kind of putting yourself out there. I would like to share a little bit about one of the ways that I like to connect with people in person is I do impromptu pop-up events. So I actually design banners that lots of you guys have already purchased and you use, and I'll show you what they look like. I create the graphics. This is the one that says the future of wellness in a drug-free patch. And at the bottom, it says it's FDA registered medical device, and it's bright fuchsia yellow. It's super pretty. It's very bold. And this is that vertical banner that she was talking about, Dina was talking about. She might have a different one, but this is the one that I created. And then I also have created a bunch of lifestyle banners that say, ask me for a free balance test, and you can pick your demographic. Basically, there's one for every type of demographic that you could possibly have. And the reason I created this is because at my last big vendor event, I was like, God, I wish I had one that said, ask me for a free balance test. So I just went ahead and created it. So you can have one on each side, or you can just pick and choose to use this one. So you can get those on my stand store. And I also created these things here. So this is the business card. This is what the front looks like. It looks exactly like the banner. which is, I think, very eye-catching. It's very different. It's vertical, so it's going to catch people's attention. And on the back, it has a picture of yourself. So you send me the photo and your contact information, whatever you want on there, and I customize it for you. And then here is the QR code that links directly to your website, or somebody had me link it to their Facebook group, or somebody else had me link one to like a form so they could capture people's contact information. It can link to whatever you want. I carry these with me everywhere I go. And then this is the postcard that I created. Sorry, the light is kind of funky. Again, you send me the photo. Everyone's photos look so great on this postcard. And it says, ask me for a free balance test. So you could also use that there. And then it lists all the patches on the back, including Flow, which is coming out very soon. This is all compliant language, which you can share this with confidence. And then, of course, it links to your QR code right there as well. I carry these with me everywhere I go, and I'm giving these out. But what's most important is that if I am giving this to somebody, I always collect their contact information. At the very least, I am friending them on social media and having them accept my friend request right there in person, so that you always have a way to follow up with people. So you got the banners, you've got the postcards with all the information on there with them. So let's just say they got a trial pack of, Lumi. They're going to now be looking at this card when they go home, and they're going to see all the various benefits. Maybe they'll be thinking about them. You have your cards. Another thing that I use at my events is I have printed out all of these one-pagers. These are actually available in your back office. If you log in and then you go to resources, you can actually download all of the high resolution photos. I just had them laminated. So I lay these out very beautifully across my tabletop. I also love the idea that Dina shared of printing out the combinations, those cocktails, and maybe having those laminated as well. That's a great idea. Also on my vendor tables, I have this one, and I think this is what she was referring to, is that she's actually got her contact information on this, and she's having them look at this and decide, hey, do you see anything that you're struggling with on this piece of paper? This is great. So I just have a visual there as well, so people can kind of look at it if they need to see it all in one place. And then what's really important as well is that you have pricing information on your table, and you make it really super easy for them to pay you. So if you're going to collect payment through Venmo or PayPal or Cash App or whatever, or if you want to provide multiple ways for people to pay very easily before your event, just go ahead and get your QR code for each of those payment options and have them printed on one piece of paper so that people can just scan the payment option that they want and pay you directly right there, which makes it super, super easy. And then I do sell my trial packs for 7 single packs or 7 patches for $20, and it just makes it really easy. And my conversion has gone up a ton since I did that. And it might not seem like a big deal. It's just 2 extra patches, but for whatever reason, it is the magic number that seems to be working for us. Like I said, I'm very big on doing pop-up events that are just totally impromptu. So I will go to like a high traffic area that is public, so that I don't have to ask for permission to be there. And I just take my banner because it comes in this little, carrying bag, and it's super lightweight. And my stand is from Amazon, and I'll share all the links to everything. So it's like paper, it's paper light. It's so light, right? And I just go by myself anywhere in a high traffic area. So for example, I went outside of a super busy gym on the parking lot. So it's public space, not private property. And I just put up my banner, and I looked real cute, and I had my things with me, and I had my sample packs, and I just went up and I said, hey, have you ever heard of a super patch? Just like Dina said, it is a great conversation starter. Hey, can I, offer to show you how this works and do a free balance test? Do you mind if I video? And if you're by yourself, which I often am, I just literally take my water bottle. So have a big water bottle with you, like a Stanley cup or something, and your cell phone, and just turn it over on selfie mode, stick it on the ground, and just say, hey, I'm going to video you. And it's okay to be a human being and to not have it all together and professional. A tripod makes things a lot easier, but just in case you're on the fly and you need to do that, I highly recommend that you video. And then you friend request them right then and there on social media. I say, I'll send you this video, and then you answer their questions. If you have samples on you, which I highly recommend you always do, you can sell sample packs right then and there as well. It has been a ton of fun. The places I've gone to, like I said, are outside of gyms. I've gone to the nature trail where I go hiking all the time in the public parking lot. I just drop down the back of my truck and I set up right there. I've gone to coffee shops and, just pretty much anywhere I can talk to people. And it's been a ton of fun. And I think it's just really great to be out in the community. One of the things that I have said to people is, I'm just out here creating brand awareness. Have you ever heard of Super Patch before? Especially if you're in an area where people are interested in wellness, they're going to be like, oh, no, I haven't. Can you tell me more about that? Right. So it's just a really a fun way to, create connections in your local community. And it's free because these are public spaces. So if you're like, I don't have the money or the budget to invest in a vendor event right now, that's okay. There's really no reason that you can't go do what I just did. So I'm just trying to show people what's possible, lots of different ways that we can connect. I know you can do patch parties, which I've helped somebody on my team do that. Join network groups, which Dina, talked about that as well. Very powerful. And one of the things that I just want to make sure to say is that right now, it's kind of like, when you start playing a game of Monopoly and it's the very beginning of the game and no one has any real estate. That's what it's like when you're going to vendor events and you're going out into the community. No one's really heard of Super Patch and you're not competing with other Super Patch vendors per se for space at these events yet. But that's going to change very, very soon. So you want to make sure to go out there and plant your flag right now. So right now is the time to be bold and to be brave and to kind of get a buddy and go out there and make your impact and plant your flag, because eventually there's going to be 20, 30, 100 Super Patch people in your neighborhood who are all vying for these vendor events and these opportunities at networking, groups and things like that. So why not make sure that they're all on your team, right? So I think it's just really super important right now to go out there and grab your real estate per se.
Yes, play Monopoly. I love it. That's such a good tip. Thank you so much, Nikki. I know you have a lot of questions in the comments, so if you want to go in and type those answers out for people, we'll go ahead and take care of that. So the next person that I have that's going to share is Linda. I love what she did. She went into a friend's salon and set up shop there, and they had a ton of fun as girls. And so I wanted her to go ahead and share her experience with setting up in a salon. Literally, you can set up at boutiques. I mean, if everybody needs this balance test, and Linda has videos of even balance testing her own dad and showing the power of that. Because when people tell me this is just a placebo, or maybe the second time I knew what you were going to do, I was like, tell that to the 85-year-old woman who was strong as a tree that I just balance tested. Like, you cannot tell me that was a placebo on her part. She didn't all of a sudden just become so found and firm on the floor. Like, you know what I mean? So I want you to go ahead and just share your experience with balance testing and what you did at that pop-up shop.
Okay, so with the balance testing, I'm always just as shocked every single time. I don't know why, but like when I did it on my dad, he was so cute. He's 91 years old, and that patch made him solid. It was great. So what we did at my friend's, she has a med spa slash permanent cosmetics company, and so we did more of like a kind of a customer appreciation event. So all the associates that participated on the team, we brought wine and snacks, and then everybody came and we just like mingled and had wine and snacks and chatted. Everyone left with a fun little goodie bag. We did drawings and giveaways just for the guests. And then after a little bit, we started talking about Super Patch, and we just told the people there that how it started, about the technology, and then we shared testimonials. So the associates that were there shared testimonials. There was a guest there that had tried the patches for a trip overseas, and she is amazing. She had stage 4 cancer, basically was told, there's nothing we can do for you, so just go home. And she did not like that answer, and she went to Mayo Clinic, and she is doing amazing. Well, her stamina and her strength and energy is just always a struggle. So she had reached out to me about Victory, or about the patches, and I suggested Victory. So she shared her testimonial, how she was just amazed. So she shared a testimonial it was just a really fun, more of a kind of a customer guest appreciation event that we did instead of a pop-up, which we have done those in the past and they've always been really great. We just want to appreciate our friends, family, guests, customers that are, using our product. So that was that event. But I did want to talk about one more thing. I have a friend that owns a boutique and I reached out to her and I was like, hey, do you think I could come set up at your shop? And she's like, oh my gosh, that would be amazing. So she made a VIP event for her customers and I came there. And what happened was crazy. Now, it was small, not a ton of people came. I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 connections that bought samples. But what came from it is even cooler. So I had people reaching out to me saying, oh, so and so was at your event at Anchored Soul Boutique, and she gave me a sample that she got, and the results were amazing. So I not only met people there, but people were talking about Super Patch afterwards and giving my contact information. So I've had 2 people reach out to me. Both have bought samples. One owns a place called Mission Nutrition and wants me to come set up and do a pop-up there. So it has just led to more things. So if you know somebody that maybe owns a small boutique, or a salon or a restaurant or whatever it might be, reach out and see if you can go and just set up your stuff. And I love that we have the ability to do this. And I love that we have a product that shows instant results with that balance test because it amazes people. And I had a lady really quick, she walked in and she's like, oh, she wasn't coming there for Super Patch. She was coming to shop. She's like, oh, my daughter uses Super Patch. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah, she's on the track team at Lindenwood University. And her friend use the patches and they say that it is a game changer in the weight room and at meets. And so I got in contact with someone there and it is just spiraling from that little small event at my friend's little tiny boutique here in Troy, Missouri. So I love that. So if you know somebody that owns a boutique or a place that you can go set up, I really encourage you to reach out to them and maybe get together with some of your team and do some sort of a customer guest appreciation event because like I said, it wasn't about really selling or sponsoring. It was more about appreciating them and giving them wine and food and gifts and giveaways and samples and things like that. So it was a really great event and we plan on doing it again as well. So yeah, so if anybody has any questions about that, let me know. But it was really more about spoiling our guests at a fun event and sharing Super Patch. And what came of it, we sold samples, we sponsored, I think we had about 15 guests come, which was great. And a few people joined our team and bought patches and samples, and it was a great event.
That is so fun. We used to do something in California called Wine and Wellness. And then we would just share the products, do an overview, share the opportunity. And it was just so much fun. And the girls just want a reason to get out. And wellness is never out of style. Jay always says the things that people are dealing with, like pain and sleep issues and energy, those never just go away. So they need solutions. And so I love that you were there. So were those free events to you? Like you didn't have to pay anything to join?
Correct. Yes.
That's amazing. Even better. So sometimes an event will have a fee and you have to, weigh out if it's worth it for you. But doing things like that is incredible. And when you said about the track thing, you and I had a separate conversation privately, and you were saying, man, like now I want to get into more college athletic pop-up events when they have like a conference or even a game. I mean, think about that too, buying a space so that you can be at a game. I mean, people are always doing sign up for this credit card and get a free hat. How do I become one of those tents? You know what I mean? I want to share about what Victory Patch is doing in the college space,
Yeah.
So
I
that would
can't
be
wait to
really
get my hands on that study. When's that coming?
Oh, if you listen to Jay's podcast, he actually talks about it. So it was really, really good, the podcast that I put in the group chat. So if you don't have that yet, every every associate needs to listen to that podcast. I'm going to go back and listen again and take notes, but I was just flabbergasted. My jaw's on the floor. He's a genius. So thank you, Linda, so
You're
much for
welcome.
sharing that. That was so fun. I'm going to go ahead and have Dana share. My friend Dana, she's got a lot going on. She's done car shows. She's done so many fun events, and I'm going to have her share how she finds them, what works best for her, and just what's working for you.
Hi guys. So I'm an avid lover of old cars. So it kind of fell into our lap when we started doing the whole car show thing. And I have friends who have cars and so forth. So it all just kind of popped up and happened. But I am a big person who wants to get out in front of you. I want to stand there. I want to get your attention. So I definitely think a lot of the advice that everyone is given works for me. I stand outside my booth. I'm drawing people in. Matter of fact, at the first car show, I pulled a really muscular guy and I said, "Hey, do you work out?" He's like, "Yeah." Surprise, like, duh. And he actually did a balance test for me. I said, "Let me perform this test on you. Promise I'm not going to hurt you. Do you mind?" And he said, "No." And then was like, "Oh my God, dude, come here," and started telling his buddy to come over. So that was really awesome. Gotten some attention from that. Along the way, I've picked up lots of people that I'm still talking to and still working with and getting samples to and so forth. It's just, it is all for me about getting our name out there and getting out in front of the people. There's a lot that goes on up in Troy and O'Fallon, but down south in southern Missouri, there's not a lot. So I am that person. I am putting it on myself. I'm that person. I do like to make my samples up ahead of time for my booths. And I do go to Facebook and I've joined a couple vendor event pages where people can advertise. So that's where I find a lot of stuff. But I do keep my eyes and ears on just Facebook events in general. And I start messaging and asking, "Hey, how can I become a vendor? What do you do? What's what's the cost?" Things like that. I also keep a list of everyone that I've talked to, as well as balance testing literally everybody. Everybody likes something free. So when you balance test them, they feel like they're doing something really cool. Um, I am super energetic and very excited when I talk to them. And that I think makes a big difference. So you're not just like, "Well, no, I'm happy to be there. I love doing vendor events and it shows." I definitely would tell everyone, be prepared, be absolutely prepared because, you don't know what you're going to get each day, whether it's going to be really hot, like Linda and I experienced one afternoon, or, you're not going to have anybody. Just be prepared for, anything's possible. Gotten some good feedback from everybody that I have met and killing it. I've got a show next weekend and one the weekend after. So I'm looking forward to it. I've reached out to lots of athletic departments in the area down here, especially my daughter's old high school. The athletic director, been talking to him. He's excited about it. So there's lots of stuff that can be done. And I'm creative just like Nikki Purcell and I like to come up with new places and ideas. Unfortunately, working a 40-hour week puts a little bit of a hinder on some of those things, but I'm finding a way around it. So if anybody has any questions, I know that Nicole has a picture of our booth that we had up a couple weekends ago. And if anybody wants to see that, just let us know. We'll drop that in the chat as well. And let me know if you have any questions.
I love that, Dana. That's so good. Yes, I agree. Stand in front of your table, get out there. Definitely, it's sports season for all high
Yeah.
schools and colleges right now. I have a cheerleader, or she's on Palm, and she has an autoimmune, and she's like, "This victory patch gives me life again. Like, I really need this during my training." So, those are really, really great opportunities to be looking out for. Talking and networking with other families, because you said your daughter's high school. Talking with other moms, maybe the cheer mom or the football mom, or there's so many different opportunities. And when we share that, this is not a stimulant, this is a drug free product that you literally just stick a sticker. I love the Victory one. When
Yeah.
I'm having those hard arthritis days, this really gets me through. So thank you so much, Dana. Did you have something else to say?
I was going to say that I'm actually in the high school craft fair coming up next weekend. So,
Ah,
and it's a really big one locally. So I'm very, very, very excited about that. And I've
that
asked
is
all of my
awesome.
team to join me, whether it be 2 hours, 4 hours, or the whole day. So
Yeah.
looking
Schools
forward to
too.
it.
Schools too. They do holiday fairs too. So
Yep.
I remember setting up at an elementary school for my product, and it's just fun. Parents just want to come and support. So
Absolutely. Thank
yes,
you.
yes. Thank you. So we have Mindy next. Mindy is busy. She is a go-getter. She's always balance testing somebody, finding events in her local area, and also creating events. So Mindy, can you go ahead and share with us what you're doing, what's working, and how you and your team are finding success with vendor events?
Sure. Okay, so I just kind of have a lot of notes written down, but some of the things that I wrote down, just basics, are make sure, this sounds so simple, but make sure you are smiling when you are at your events. It's you have to look approachable and you have to be listening to people. Wear a logo item. If you don't have a logo shirt, find a logo shirt. You can get them right on the website. They're super cute and our prices are very, very good. I'm always set up at least about 15 minutes before the event starts so that I can walk around and talk to all the other vendors and talk to the other vendors about where other vendor events are going to be happening. They're always, and vendors, sometimes you think they're happy with what they're doing, but those usually make your best recruits because they are already in direct sales to begin with or some kind of business. So talk to the other vendors, do balance testing on them, but get their business card, talk to them. I loved the you buy from me, I'll buy from you, because then you kind of have a connection with them a little bit and they kind of like that. So make sure you get their business cards, friend everybody on whatever social media platform that they have. And comment on, if you're having a hard time getting people to come to your booth, maybe comment on something. If they're walking by, go, oh, that's a really cute, where did you just buy that at, or whatever, and get a conversation going with them so you're not just salesy. Also, if you're going to do some kind of a drawing, when you're getting information from them, take notes on the back of it. The lady that, she had the really cute yellow dress on or whatever it is, so you can kind of remember who they were. We always do some kind of a drawing, and maybe it's get a test, get into a drawing for whatever it is that you're going to do, but always, always, always get their information. Venmo is really good for making sure that you have their names also. So I know Square, if it blocks you on there, you can do that too. I love the holder things. Whoever's making those, I just sent it to my guy and I said, okay, guess what we're making this weekend? Banners, love it. This is the other thing. If you have people on your team and you have a vendor event, take people on your team so that you can train them on how to do vendor events. And if you are newer to it and you've never done a vendor event, then reach up to your upline and ask them if they will come help you at a vendor event so that way you have two people there. It's really hard to do vendor events when there's just one of you there, because if you need to walk away to go to the bathroom, or if it is a little bit slower, then you have somebody that can stand at your table while you go back and talk to all of those people again. But I love taking people from my downline so that I can help them get the sales and all of those people. And let's see. Oh, a spinning wheel. So this was actually a suggestion that somebody else just gave me because we're going to be doing some events at a big thing going on here. So we have a spinning wheel because then people will see the spinning wheel and they can come over and they can spin it, especially if you have a lot of kids that are maybe going to be at an event. And it might be, some kind of a prize or something that says Super Patch on it. We're kind of playing around with that a little bit, but if you have something that draws them to your table, that really helps. And we always do some kind of a giveaway. So that's what we're doing right now.
I love that. And even giving away, if you don't have a whole pack of pouches to give away, even a 3-day trial, 5-day trial, 7-day trial, it's still something. It's still very generous. I mean, if we have people seeing results with Liberty immediately, think about like the patches that they could be trying. And then maybe they can even pick it and you can find out what their interest is. Out of all these patches, which one would you like for your free giveaway? 5 days of it. And they're like, REM, oh, I didn't know that you dealt with sleep issues. Like, let's talk some more about that. And you spark up a conversation with your winner, you know? So thank you so, so much, Mindy, for sharing that. That was so great. I know that you, every time I see you, you're recording, or you got somebody recording you doing a balance test. And those are always really great to share as well.
Yeah.
So we have Londa, who is going to be sharing. She's last on our list, but you guys are going to want to take notes. She is doing in-home patch parties and rewarding
this.
her host. And so this is going to be so good because this is a different spin on everything that we have talked about, but she is getting into the home. So Londa, I'm going to have you go ahead and unmute and share.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. Well, I love Belly to Belly. I love that saying, Celia. It was wonderful. I was in direct sales previously for a long time, and I loved doing parties because you get in front of more people. Enthusiasm breeds enthusiasm, and you can get multiple bookings from patch parties. First of all, you need to believe in what you're doing. I totally 100% believe in the super patch. So energetic and excited, that's very easy for me. I balance test my host always in front of everyone. Even if she's already using the Liberty patch, I tell her not to wear it that day. I talk to each hostess before the party to tell them what they have the idea of getting. They can be a host and get customers and get $30 credit for every order that is placed under their name once they purchase. And I also tell them that they can certainly be one of the first people in her area to be a super patch associate and what that can bring them. I ask for volunteers for the balance test. I actually end up doing almost everyone at every party. I encourage her to have at least 10 people in attendance. That's a challenge. And I give her free patches for 10 people in attendance. Everyone that brings an uninvited guest will also get a free gift, which you can imagine, it's a patch. And because they know, remember, uninvited guests know people that are not, there's no one at the party, at the patch party, none of their friends. So it's really important because they can be mentally making a list of people that they would invite to their patch party. I encourage couples parties. Men are so much easier to balance test than women because they're always shocked that they aren't as strong as they think they are. And I always ask them, how strong are you? And they say, oh, pretty strong, especially men. Refreshments, I tell them, open a bag and pour it in a bowl. That's all you need to have. If you want to have alcohol, that's fine. If you don't want to have alcohol, have iced tea. Make it simple because your guests will see that you didn't go to a lot of work, therefore they don't have to go to a lot of work. I use cards. They're right here. This is my patch party. I read everything from my cards. And I do that because then people can see that they don't have to know everything. They can read it from a card. And as you can see, it's two very simple cards. That's how long I talk. I pass out, when you talk, when you're that way, you're duplicatable. So they can say, oh, I can do that tomorrow. I pass out these sheets that I have my name, my website and my phone number on them. I don't often use labels at my parties because I don't want them to think that they have to have labels to start the super patch, become an associate. I also carry pens for everyone because one of the worst things is to have your hostess have to look for pens. When I pass out the sheet, I have them circle every single patch that they need because I don't know if they can't sleep at night. I don't know if they have pain. they are automatically going to circle the Liberty because they've been balance tested, or they've seen it and can't believe it. I sold samples, and I'm deciding whether I'm going to do that or not at a patch party. I'm giving them a sample for coming, and those samples that I give them for coming are ones that they can immediately feel. If they have circled defend, I give them if they circle defend, I give them a defend patch because they get relief immediately from a defend patch. I give them peace patch because you are at peace automatically. If they're in pain, I may do a pain patch between the pain and the brain. That's important to know. And I do what else do I do? Oh, I do the boost patch, and I give them the boost patch and tell them to put it on in the morning because it is such an amazing thing. I talk about energy. Those drinks that they're drinking are killing our children. And this is calm energy all day long. I'm not going to go through my party, but I will post it on if you want it posted. And that's it. I let them order. I have them take this home, and they have my business card with my QR code, and it's perfect. Perfect. I believe that you will get multiple bookings, and I do believe that since COVID is over, and because we were homebound for so long, that people are dying to get together and have an excuse to have everyone over. And a patch party's the perfect thing. So happy patching.
That was so great, Lana. Oh my gosh. I know everybody's in the comments like, this is amazing. I used to also do parties with Pampered Chef and in-home parties, and I just loved it so much. I'm like you, belly to belly, just wanting to be duplicatable. So those are really some key things that, so Lana, I want to ask you, what is your like turnaround? What is your conversion rate from sampler to customer, from customer to an associate? Like, are you building your team with your hostess who hosted the party? How is all of that going?
I've done two. If Leanne's on the phone, I had someone with me. Leanne Warren came with me and taped the whole thing so I could see where I messed up because it was my first one. It was about $1,800. She became an associate. And the last one I did, I didn't sell the samples. I just took orders, and she is becoming an associate as well. But we signed her up. She wanted all the freebies, so that was that. And my the turnaround, I'm a big person in calling them after they get their patches. If they take samples, I honestly have to tell you this, I sell 10 for 20 because I worked it out financially, and it was worth it to me because I will have them wear them for 5 days, and then I call them and tell them that they only have 5 more days left. What have they noticed? You know, if it's pain, usually by 5 days they have some relief, but then they're out. So I have a reason to call them after 5 to 7 days and tell them that they need to go on my website and order another pack of Freedom because they're going to be out. How is your energy? How's your energy? How is your stress? How, whatever they order, I have a reason to call them.
That is amazing. I think everybody, when you said $1,800, everybody's jaw just went.
Well, Leanne was there. I wish she could unmute. It was like amazing. They were like everywhere. And I had Leanne with me, which I would recommend, just like everyone else, take an associate with you so they can help you and learn how to do it themselves. It was eye-opening for us. It was really eye-opening.
Wow. I love that. Thank you so much. I love the tip that you gave about men balance testing easier than women because they're so like, I'm strong. And they want to know if they fall over, there it has to be a placebo effect. This can't be. I'm like, everybody thinks that. Don't worry about it. So this was so fun, you guys. I recorded it. If you want your associates to have it, we will get it in and out, hopefully by tonight. But this was so good. We had 76 people on this call, and we're ending the call with 67 people, which is phenomenal for being a 1 hour call. I feel like you guys were hungry for the tips. You guys were ready to learn, and you guys were just ready to just make money. So this is going to be a new way. We are gearing up for our highest selling season, you guys. So I just wanted everybody to be prepared that this is just going to be a new way to go out and meet people and share the super patch love. And just like someone else said, you want to be the first person in your area to do that before it gets competitive and before it gets saturated. So go and build, have fun. And then if you need anything, reach out to me, reach out to your sponsor. We'll get you links. We'll get you connected to where you need to be. But so much love for all of you. Thank you for hanging
Hey,
in here
Celia,
tonight.
can I say something really quickly? just-
Absolutely, Queen.
I
Yes.
just want to make sure that you guys know that the fortune is in the follow-up. It's so important to network and to make new connections and to meet new people, but it's really super important that you understand that sometimes it's not one and done. You really do need to follow up with people, and sometimes that's multiple times. Don't give up on people, be consistent, stay connected, build that relationship. It is super, super, super important. I know a lot of times people will go to a big vendor event, they'll get tons of contacts, and maybe they sell a ton of trial packs, but then it's like crickets afterwards. Do not get discouraged. The reason you are there building these or doing these events is so that you can fill your bucket with warm market leads. So treat them just like that and take very good care of them, provide good customer care. It's super important. And if you need help with follow-up, just reach up to your sponsor or your upline or any of us. It's all one team, one dream, and we would love to help you because that's truly where the fortune is, in the follow-up.
This was so fun. Thank you so much, Nikki. You're so, so right. And remind them they get 25% off their first order. On their second, they also get a link to share. So if they want to share it with their mom or their sister or their cousin or their boyfriend, have them use that link to share so that they get $30 back for or I call them rewards. They get $30 rewards for their next purchase. So you guys go out there, have fun, spread the love, and stay in contact with us. We want to hear all about your events and how they're going for you. So we will get this recording out. Thank you, everybody, for being on tonight, and have a good night.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Good night.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.